morning. I declare congregation open. Kindly be seated. Distinguished guests, graduates, family and friends, a very warm welcome to you all on this beautiful day. As Chancellor, it is a great privilege to be sharing this special day of graduation with you. Graduation is an incredibly important event in your life. It's one of those defining points, one which you'll never forget. It's a marker between one phase of your life and the next. There are very few moments in your life like this. Please enjoy it. There's no shame in being proud of what you've achieved and the rewards for all the hard work that you have done and for all the support that those in this hall have provided. Graduation is also a chance for the whole university to celebrate and to reflect on our history and values. Values that connect us not just today, but forever, through the contribution that you have made during your time studying here. Exeter has thrived as a university over the last 6 decades to become one of the best universities in the world, in the top 1% of the world's universities. Each and every one of you has played an important part in the success of this community. And now, for many of you, this is the beginning of the next stage of your life. We will watch with pride as you grow into the academic, and professional, and social leaders of the future, people with purpose and vision, equipped for challenge. And we hope that the values of the university will be guiding principles as you progress through your careers. We know that you will at all times strive to reach the highest standards of citizenship. So graduates, well done. We're proud of you. I hope you will look back at your time here at Exeter as some of the happiest years of your life. So please enjoy today's ceremony and the moments together with your partners, your parents, your friends in this moment of celebration. I look forward to meeting you graduates on this stage over the next few minutes to confer upon you your degrees. I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor of the University, Sir Steve Smith, to address congregation.
Thank you, Chancellor, and good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to you all, and especially a warm welcome to our graduands. Today is your day, a chance for you to celebrate all that you've achieved during your time at this distinguished university. It is not only, of course, a rite of passage for you, but also a very important occasion for your families and loved ones. Because although the focus of the ceremony is on you, our graduands, we're also here to celebrate all of those who've encouraged and supported you. And we appreciate that some of you in the audience have made great sacrifices to support our graduands. So perhaps I could ask our graduands to join me in offering our collective heartfelt thanks to families and friends. Graduation is also about celebrating each graduand's contribution to Exeter's academic community. Each of you has written your own chapter in Exeter's history, and you should be very proud. We are certainly proud of you. For some of you, Today is the beginning of a new relationship with your university as you join the worldwide community of 120,000 alumni who we're in touch with. Our alumni are here to help you as you begin and then progress through your career. They have quite literally been here and done it, so please make use of their expertise and networks. They want to help and would be really glad to hear from you. Last year, over 1,000 of our alumni volunteered more than 11,000 hours to support Exeter students. For those of you returning to postgraduate study in the autumn, we look forward to welcoming you back. There's no doubt that Exeter graduates go on to do incredible things, and so will you. Our graduates pursue careers all over the world, and an Exeter degree is your passport to success in whatever walk of life you choose. Our graduates make a positive impact on the world around them, both professionally and within wider society. I hope that your time and achievements here will be something that will stay with you throughout your life. We will work hard to make sure your university remains successful and that we continue to make you proud of us. The University of Exeter is a forever institution and an anchor institution, and we hope that your connection with us will be lifelong. It's a forever institution because the great universities will be here long after the current pressures and challenges are long gone. Exeter is one of the world's finest universities, and Exeter research and scholarship are transforming lives and societies both around the world as well as here in the southwest of England. The university owes its origins to a group of people who raised funds to create a place of learning in Devon and Cornwall, the aim of which was to provide, and I quote, as good a chance in life as children elsewhere in England, end quote. We never forget that aim. Today, we are a world-class university firmly anchored in our region, working with our partners for the betterment of lives locally, nationally, and internationally. We care deeply about our community impact and contribution. The university contributes more than £1.1 billion a year into the economy and generates almost 11,000 jobs in the southwest. Last year, the city of Exeter created more jobs in technology than Cambridge. Over the last year, we've also made a global impact through our research in global health, food and water security, climate change, and global conflicts and terrorism, issues that are not only important for this university, but the world as a whole. We are very proud that one of our research teams, led by Professor Tamara Galloway, won the prestigious Guardian University Award for Research Impact this year for its research into the devastating impact that microplastic pollution can have on the health of humans and wildlife. We also received the largest philanthropic gift in the university's history to our medical school, a £10 million donation from the Dennis and Mireille Gillings Foundation to establish the Mireille Gillings Neuroimaging Centre, a new facility which will double the number of the world's trials in Alzheimer's research and will thus affect the lives of many. The College of Humanities at Exeter is one of the largest groupings of arts and humanities disciplines in the UK, and history plays a massive part in making Exeter Humanities truly world-class. This can be seen in the rankings of humanities in the various international league tables. This year, we are 36th in the world in the Leiden rankings, and humanities is in the global top 100 in the QS World University Rankings. Humanities also plays a major part in the delivery of innovative teaching and research through our new Digital Humanities Lab, and is leading for the whole university on the development of a new arts and culture strategy, which will place Exeter firmly at the centre of cultural activity in the region. Turning back to the university generally, just a few weeks ago we found out that we've been awarded once again a Gold Award for the quality of our teaching, one of only 10 Russell Group universities to receive this accolade. We constantly strive to put our students at the heart of everything we do, creating their education with us in partnership. And we are very proud of our relationship with the Students' Guild and with the Athletic Union. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank them for providing all students with wonderful support, social and sporting opportunities, and an all-round fantastic university experience. When Exeter was founded back in 1955, we welcomed precisely 454 students onto the first year of their degrees. Later this year, around 5,000 new first-year students will be joining us. Today, Exeter is a destination of choice for many of the world's brightest young people from over 140 countries. More than 2/3 of our applicants last year who had A-levels were predicted 3 A's or higher, and I must confess that many of us on stage today, myself certainly included, might not quite have got the grades required to get a place at Exeter today. But whilst much has changed over the decades, Exeter's reputation as a creator of graduates of distinction and of world-class education and research has remained the same. Graduates like you transform the world for all of us, and I know that you will make us as proud of you tomorrow as we are today. My final message is simply this: well done. Thank you for choosing Exeter. Please never underestimate the transformative power of education. I passionately believe that education opens the door to a more successful and fulfilling life, as I truly hope it will for you all. Please stay in touch, because together we make this university one of the best in the world. And to repeat, we are a forever institution, firmly and proudly located in our region, and we want you to be part of our community forever. But most of all, enjoy the day, your day, because you deserve all our sincere congratulations. Thank you.
I now call upon Professor Richard Toye to present the first cohort of candidates for awards.
Chancellor, by the authority of Senate, I present to you the following who have been deemed worthy to receive degrees of the university. In the College of Humanities, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in History, Thomas Harry Chadwick. Paul George Freer. Angela Joy Muir. James Michael Trevor Parker. And in medical history, Natasha Olivia Feiner. Kaylee Nias. And for the degree of Master of Arts in History, Thomas Coyer. And in Medieval Studies, Madeline Cambridge. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History, Samuel David Adams. Sarah Elizabeth Akins. Fiona Alexandra Amory. Melissa Barker. Lottie Florence Batchelor. Katie Alice Bell. Amy Catherine Bensley. Oliver Leon Colum Baresi. James David Anthony Bloodworth. James Boissier. Edward Alexander Boswell. Rachel and Harrod Bolt. Brandon Oakley Bowden. Georgina Bowkett. Alexander Brackstone. Timothy Brennan Brown. Kate Brown. Daphne Bugler. May Bullock. And Harrod Kate Burden. Joseph Lloyd Burrows. Octavia Butler. Jack Harry Caldecott. Tess Lorraine Carter. Abigail Rose Clark. Jessica Clark. Claudia Coleman. Oliver Edward Dempster Collins. Tabitha Darcy Collins. Tara Rebecca Colesall-Hawes. Adam Cook. Elizabeth Iolanthe Rossiter Cooper. Andrew Court. Elizabeth Rebecca Cousins. Eloise Cowan. Isabel Daly. Tom Danby. Laura Jane Davidson. Hugo de Jesus. Clara de Montfort. Alex Decker. Adam Richard Diaz. Olivia Alexandra Dixon. Aisling Draper. Rihanna Duthie. Sean Alexander Eccleston. Bethan Edwards. Cesare Edaye. Jessica Ely. Hannah Aleri Evans. Madeline Evans. Shoned Fleer Evans. Phoebe Maud Fardell. Samuel Fenn. Miranda Sophia Orr Fisher. Kiva Marie Flatley. Thomas Owen Glyn Jones. Alexander Marcus Edward Goodwin. Connor Gould. Non Aleri Griffiths. Emma Grob. Oliver William Gromsky. Tatiana Emily Guinness. Alexandra Hancock. Joseph Matthew Hart. Lucy Alexandra Hart. Jacob Hartley. William Hassel. Samantha Hayes. Phoebe Heaton Renshaw. Nicholas Higgins. Elliot Hiller. Anna Hines. Lara Grace Hogan. Jessica Hollings. Sarah Elizabeth Huff. Samuel Arthur Michael Hulse. Annabelle Jackson. Abby Marie Jarvis. Alexander Charles Jeffries. Matthew Jeffrey. Holly Elizabeth Jennings. Charles Johnston. Tobias Jones. Clementine Jatishki Hull. Jennifer Maureen Yerger. Madison Ellie Keane. Joshua Keane. Francesca Hannah Kirby. Nicholas Addison Kidd. Dominic Edmund Thomas Kierwan. Imogen Knox. Edward Alexander Lavelle. Gregory Leaney. Edward James Lewis. William Lister. Maximilian Edward Llewellyn. Emily Fenella Hamilton Lockyer. Saffron Aldith Lowesley. Oliver Wolf-Ferrari Lund. Elliot McMillan. Kerry Mann. Maximilian Mannering. Nick David Charles Mansfield. Amy Mason. Samuel James MacDonald. Thomas McGowan. James Andrew McGregor. Beth McIntyre. Rosemary Miller. Charlotte Malloy. Charles Morell. Lois Victoria Mortimer. Chloe Rose Moody. Sarah Eleanor Murphy. Cameron Bryce Murray. Connor Murray. Samuel Meyer. Alexander Graham Miles. Jessica Lee North. Joel Christopher O'Flaherty. Megan Jane Rose Omani. Gemma Victoria Louise Oldham. Joseph John Oxlade. Christian Page. Giselle Calypso Painter. Ellen Palombo. Hannah Rachel Parry. Monica Parry. Olivia Parson. Madeline Pennington. Hebe Susanna Eleanor Perry Belfridge. Samuel Jack Peters. Harrison Phillips. Samuel Phillipson. Holly Louise Phipps. Charles Poynton. Alicia Porter. Reese Powell. Agia Pradhan. Cameron Price. Timo Julian Quallington. Hannah Louise Keyray. Luke Ravenscroft. Charlotte Redgewell. Richard Ruddock Roberts. Holly Ann Rice. Samuel Ridge. Rosie Riley. Georgina Diana Roberts. Claudia Robinson. Jonty Robinson Stania. Harriet Grace Rowe. James Edward Rogers. Gabriella Rolfe. Catherine Alice Ronaldson. Evie Rose Salter. Sander Mart Silenthal. Christopher John Seymour. Eleanor Alice Skipper. Alexander Matthew Spacey. Francesca Stansfield. Emily Rose Stead. Helen Violet Stickler. Rachel Amy Strickland. Callum Syret. Hao Ching Howard Tang. Holly Grace Taylor. Catherine Thomas. Daisy Tipping. Kim Tolkien. Bethan Claire Tucker. Michael Valance. Marcus Watkinson. Michael Watts. Cameron Weir. Emily Whitford. Alexandra Jane Williams. John Anthony Williams. Max Wright. Alexander McLean Youngson.
I now call upon the public orator, Professor Susan Banducci, to present the honorary graduand.
John Simpson, CBE. Democracy depends upon an informed citizenry. John Simpson's distinguished career has been spent keeping the public informed on matters of war, foreign policy, and the domestic situation in foreign countries. As world affairs editor at the BBC, John is the most distinguished foreign correspondent of our time. From early on in his career, he has always been prepared to ask difficult questions of our political leaders. John started as a sub-editor at the BBC in 1966 and became a reporter in 1970. On his first day as a reporter, he was in a group following then Prime Minister Harold Wilson. When no reporter asked Wilson the important question of the day, which was whether he was going to call an election, John thought it was down to him to ask. So on Platform 7 at Euston Station, John held out the microphone and asked the question. Famously, he got a punch in the stomach rather than an answer from Wilson. He has reported on and been present at the most important global events of the last 50 years. He was present in 1989 when Chinese authorities sent in soldiers and tanks to clear Tiananmen Square, killing hundreds of unarmed civilians who were calling for democratic reforms. He was there when Nelson Mandela walked to freedom in 1990 after 27 years in prison on Robben Island, and then he covered the joyful election of Mandela as president of South Africa in 1994. Of all the 200 political leaders he has interviewed, he counts interviewing Mandela in 2001 when he visited Cambridge to receive an honorary fellowship as the highlight of his professional career. These events and the others he has reported on serve as important markers in the successive waves of the consolidation and deconsolidation of democratic values. It is precisely these democratic values which motivate John's reporting. His work is testament that real eyewitness reporting is still necessary and that news organizations must invest in experienced journalists for factual, accurate reporting. His commitment to eyewitness reporting has also come at great personal risk to John. To recount but one incident, in 2003, while reporting on the Iraq War, John was traveling with a convoy carrying U.S. Special Forces and Kurdish fighters. An American commander with them saw an Iraqi tank and called in warplanes to take out the tank. The missiles from the warplanes hit the convoy instead of the Iraqi tank. One of the missiles fired hit the ground close to where John was standing, injuring him. Tragically, 3 people were killed in the attack, including John's 25-year-old translator. In addition to his years of news reporting, he has authored numerous books. In his 2009 book titled Unreliable Sources: How the 20th Century Was Reported, he tackles the topic of his own profession. His thesis in the book is that the essence of journalism has not changed much in the last century. This is an important observation since we now tend to focus on how platforms such as Facebook and Twitter have transformed the news industry, making it much easier to spread falsehoods, and this in turn has led to a lack of trust in all news media. However, John's reporting with the BBC has upheld the highest journalistic standards: independence, accuracy, and accountability. And it is these standards that encourage public trust. We are pleased to welcome John to the University of Exeter today to recognize the important and lasting impact he has had on journalism and the public's understanding of world affairs. Chancellor, I now have the pleasure in presenting John Simpson for the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. I now invite our honorary graduate, John Simpson, to address the congregation.
Well, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much this means. I've had all sorts of friends and colleagues who've studied at Exeter, and to be a kind of one of theirs by adoption is a great honor. I must say that it rather shook me to know that I'm 11 years older than a university. Soon it'll be the Pope, won't it? This is a magnificent institution, and the people who are graduating here today are going to go out into a world that actually none of us sitting here can really quite imagine. Things change so fast now, but there are some things, of course, which remain the same, and I think that standards of behavior and honor and love for one's fellow man are some of those qualities which, no matter what the world gives us, are not going to change. Today is rather an important day, of course. Today is when President Trump meets Vladimir Putin, and we simply don't know, and his closest officials don't know what the outcome is going to be. It seems the world seems to be a very weird and quite kind of unpredictable place. But I do caution against assuming that it's all getting worse. It is difficult to predict. That's certainly true. People who, let's face it, wouldn't have been presidents and prime ministers and others in the past are now filling those jobs. But the world is actually, if you can believe such a thing, believe it of somebody who is 11 years older than Exeter University, is actually a better place than it was on the day that I started in journalism, the 1st of September 1966. On that day, there were 28 wars going on in the world, one of which, the Vietnam War, was a real full-scale war. Many of the others were kind of lower grade, lower level kind of conflicts. So 28 on that day. Now there are 16, of which none really is of kind of category 1 or Category 2, sometimes not even Category 3 importance. These are wars which are continuing but and need to be resolved, but they're not necessarily the kind of wars that we saw in the past. And yet, if you ask most people, I think they would say that there's more warfare nowadays, there's more danger to people than there used to be, simply because we see more of it. And that's the fault of, sadly, of people like me. On that day, 1st of September 1966, there were no fewer than 83 dictatorships in the world, out of, I suppose, probably about 150 countries then existing. I mean, that is a lot. Today, not 86, but 14 dictatorships. Far, far fewer. Now, okay, we can talk about the nature of democracy, we can talk about elected dictatorships and so forth, but at least those dictatorships are elected, and they may indeed fall one day by the ballot box. In terms of democracies, in September 1966, there were just 31 of them around the world. It felt sometimes quite a lonely business being a citizen of a liberal democracy. And now there are 150 countries which can honestly claim to have some degree of democracy. In 1990, by which time I was reporting on the fall of empires and so forth, there were 1.75 billion people in dire poverty throughout the world. 1.75 billion. Now there's 705 million. It's an awful lot of people to be poor, but it's 1 billion less than simply 28, 30 years ago. That's an extraordinary change, and it's full of hope, I would say, for our country. It's less, the number of people in dire poverty now is less than 10% of the world's population for the first time in human history. So you see, it isn't all gloom and doom, even though sometimes I know people think that characters like me are kind of ravens going around cawing at the awfulness of life and wanting to rub everybody's face in it. But you who are graduating today are going out into a world which has been successful in the last 28 years in cutting poverty by 1 billion. Who knows what we can do? Who knows where we can go? And who knows what you will see? I'd just like, if you don't mind, not much you can do to stop me actually, just reciting a little bit of, it's not much more than doggerel really, but I came across it some years ago by the former poet laureate, in fact, John Masefield. Not really. I'm sure that the English faculty here will rather turn their noses up at John Masefield, but he did write one or two rather amusing novels, and he did write one or two nice poems. Perhaps you'll know some of them. But this little thing is only 4 lines long, you'll be grateful to know. And it says, it's called Epilogue, and it starts off, I have seen flowers grow in stony places, and kind things done by men with ugly faces, and the gold cup won by the worst horse at the races, so I trust still. And I feel that way. I may not be poet laureate, but I think that John Masefield got it bang on, and I think we can trust it. You don't need to be scared about this world that you're stepping out into. You can rejoice in it, and you can do your bit to make it a better place. Thank you very much indeed.
I now call upon Professor Richard Toy to present the second cohort of candidates for awards.
Chancellor, by the authority of Senate, I present to you the following who have been deemed worthy to receive degrees of the University. In the College of Humanities, for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History and Ancient History, Alexandra Charlotte Best. William James Sims Blundell. Grace Ellen Ferguson. Daniel Foote. Hugo Colin Ewood Furby. Henry Francis Gayfer. John Peter Lefebvre. Rosemary McDonough. Alexander Dominic Vaughan McFadden. Graham Moore. Francesca Morgan. Jane Hui Wen Neo. Charles Palmer. Alexander Slater. Imogen Daisy Smith. Holly West. Darcy Isabel Wright. In History and Ancient History with Study Abroad, James David Gibling. Thomas Miller. Thomas William Morris. Matthew Shah. In History and Archaeology, Rebecca Byrne. Julia Goulbourne. In History and Archaeology with Study Abroad, Emily Rose Moon. In History and French, Alexander James Decay Curtis. Naomi Rosa Kenny Darling. Oliver Davis. Nicole Elizabeth Gadras. Elliot Joseph Laker. Gloria Loreto Mayel Kafati. Alex Powell. Angelica Tosato. Cullum James Tremaine. In History and German, Nadia Webb. Emily Maria Victoria Willis. In History and International Relations, Emily Choi. Henry Clark. Jordan Carl Dobney. Alexander Elliot Gale. Lucas Grinstead. Milo Arthur Hinton Hutchings. Sophie May Isles. Thomas Andrew Kendall. Rollo Morrissey. Asiem Nugumanova. Abigail Payne. Joaquin Antonio Rivero Silva. Thomas Edward James Slater. Amelia Caroline Stiles. William Hugo Francis Tuckett. In History and International Relations with Study Abroad, Rebecca Jane McPherson Cole. Morag Marion Forbes. Daniel Kibsgard. George McQuiston. Robert Porter. Rhiannon Emir Steeds. Tabitha Rose Elizabeth Webb. In History and Politics, Constance Amelia Adams. Owen Bell. James Carnell. Jordan Matthew Cochrane. Mary Dewar. Henry William Glynn Eads. Imogen Edwards. Harriet Alice Foreman. Sky Galpier Shade. Lara Gray. Tristan Charles Leonard Harris. Oliver Havenhand. William Thomas Aloysius Hislop. Kieran Richard Jackson. Laurie Jones. Sophie Elise McCormack. Oliver Hamish Murray. Jack Overall. Lucy Reed. Hannah Alice Short. Luke Sills. Thomas Patrick Slade. Ellen Ruth Pope Smith. Lois Sparr. Natasha Louise Durapan Thompson. Michael Anthony Thorpe. Alan Truman. Eleanor Waite. William Woolstenham. In History and Politics with Study Abroad, Elliot Fromont. Richard Alexander Thorne. In History and Russian, Katie Louise White. In History and Spanish, Eleanor Bates. Kate Elise Beckett. Anna Charlotte Bromfield. Thomas Edward Douglas. Lauren Carroll Fiore. Catherine Griffiths. Sophie May Jerram. Jonah Jack Lovell. James William Mitchell. Georgina Stainsby Young. In history with mathematics, Amabel Watkins. In history with Middle East studies, Samuel Liebes. In history with Middle East studies and study abroad, Isabel Stephanie Cotterill. In history with study abroad, Kenisha Acedo. Max Blore. Tessa Boyd. Gwilym Robert Davis. Emma Herring. Joanna Mercer Horsley. Toby Hunt. Leonie Hyman. Annabelle Charlotte Marmor. Luke Mulholland. Rory Iskander Nar. Eleanor Sarah Oretti. Matthew Parker. Robin William Pearson. Thomas Michael Jeffrey Sheldon. Amy Amaya Wharton. In the College of Social Sciences and International Studies for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy and History, Anna Mary Virginia Hartley. Ellen Arlene McCready.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some graduates who would have been here today, but for various reasons, illness, travel, internships, other things, are not with us. So I am now going to award them their degrees in absentia, and I ask you to join me in congratulating them.
I now call upon Bryony Lovelace of the Students' Guild to give the student vote of thanks.
Hello, Exeter graduates. Before I start, I must say it's an absolute privilege to be able to address you all as such for the first time, as Exeter graduates. My heartfelt congratulations. Savour this moment. You should all be incredibly proud of the hard work you've put in during your time here to reach this point. Contributing to academic life on campus, to student life in the city, to the world around you. Today is a day for celebration. And throughout these celebrations, the raising of glasses, the posing for photos on the Exeter Rock, the recollection of stories with friends, it is important that we do two things. First, that we reflect upon how much we've grown during our time in Exeter, and second, that we look towards the future. We will leave Exeter with so many memories, the beautiful surroundings, the wonderful friends, and of course, the highest ratio of trees to students in the country. University really is like this little world, separate from everything before and everything after, and we should be so thankful for all it has given us. Exeter has introduced us to new opportunities every single day, whether that be through volunteering and engaging in the community, guild societies, sport in the athletics union, or a never-ending list of exciting events. University life can become so brilliantly chaotic and exciting with such frequency and such quantity. It's an environment unlike anything else. That's not to say that your time here won't have come without its challenges. It would be so easy to breeze over the all-nighters in the library, that month when the budget was a little tight, or that really difficult exam. The times when real life didn't quite match up to our expectations. But here you are, and I honestly believe it's a unique balance of both the good and the bad that has transformed us into the strong individuals who are sat here today. Graduates with knowledge, passion, and resilience. There will be so many people who helped us get to this moment that we need to show our thanks to. And I'm sure it goes without saying that on behalf of every graduate, to all members of staff, academics, family, and friends, your support is appreciated more than words can say. So what's next? If we have even a little in common, that question might terrify you right now. Some of you will have jobs or adventures planned and ready to go. Others will be looking to further your academic career or meticulously plan out the next 50 years. And some of you won't have had time to think about it yet. I was asking the same questions when I graduated a year ago, and actually, something I've learned in my role as Vice President Education of the Students' Guild is that all of those are great places to be in. Just think, if you've ever found a free seat in the library, if you've ever successfully managed to navigate the corridors of Amory or Queen's, or if you've ever even been to a Cheesy Tuesdays once as a final year student, you can do anything. Exeter's little-known motto is Locem Sequima, and while the colloquial translation is Bleed Green, the literal one is We Follow the Light. You may not realise it just yet, but your time here will have equipped you to do exactly that, to go forth in the world and flourish. You are graduates who are able to affect change, the critical thinkers and problem solvers of tomorrow, individuals with integrity, imagination, and ambition, ready to actively engage with any challenge this world has to give. And you've all got degrees from Exeter, a global institution and probably the best university in the world.
Bryony, thank you very much. Thank you also to the Students' Guild. The Student Guilds are an essential part of our community in the sports and recreation and other activities that they provide our students. Students who come here, often without knowing anybody, in many cases for the first time being away from home, maybe away from their country of origin, and also possibly studying a subject that they've never studied before and they didn't necessarily fully understand when they applied for it. We are very grateful to the Students' Guild. The Students' Guild is a core to so much which the university collectively delivers with the students. It's a fact of life. There's more stress in the student world at the moment, more anxiety, and the Students' Guild, together with our own specialist counsellors, are providing a tremendous amount of support for our young students who are coping with the pressures such as social media. I've got 2 children at university. My advice to them is turn it off. My advice to you is turn it off as well. Use social media to inform you. Don't use social media or allow it to dictate you. I also want to express our thanks, having expressed our approval and appreciation of what the graduates have achieved and the support that they've achieved from their close ones who are represented here today and in absentia. 2 other groups I'd like to express a word of thanks to, firstly for the university's professional staff. We are a small town. We are a complex community. The sheer task of managing the needs of this community of opinionated, bright, young students and opinionated, bright, not so young academics is a challenge, and we are grateful to our professional staff there. And of course, we're also grateful to faculty, the academic staff, some of whom are represented here. I watch them as they catch the eye of the students coming across the stage, and some of the students give an appreciative look to their academic staff, clearly mindful of the support that they have received. Others give a look which is more akin to saying, well, you didn't think you'd see me here, did you? I have to say, this is my third year as Chancellor. It's a wonderful job. As I watch the students coming over, there are moments of fascination and moments of fear. Fascination that some of our female graduates have decided that today is just the right day to wear the highest heels they've ever worn. Fear when I see the club ties of the rugby club or the rowing club and the knowledge that they're going to squeeze my fingers so hard that I'm almost going to be crying in pain. Here we are at this inflection point in your life, this moment where you will set a new course. You've been sailing to get your degrees, and now you must look to your navigating aids, look to your heart in terms of what it is you want to do, to try to find the next destination in your life. Our honorary graduate has spoken about the need to maintain respect for solid, timeless values of friendship and honesty and integrity. You will make choices now about your professions, about your personal life, about your commitment to faith and spirituality, to the contribution you will make to the world. I just urge you to continue to make a contribution. We live in an environment in which talking about experts and elites is some way now looked down on. But you are an elite. You are part of a privileged group who have managed to secure a place here and achieved your degree success. So I really urge you to go out there and, at least in part of your life, do something which has purpose and meaningful value. Use your skills to achieve good. Use your voice, your privilege, your education to speak up for those who don't have voices. Seize the challenge of uncomfortable and awkward issues which others may prefer to step to one side from. Because that is what Exeter is about. It's about having an impact. And it's also importantly about you maintaining continuity with our community. So as the Vice-Chancellor has said, please hook into the alumni network. It's really phenomenal. Wherever I go in the world, I find Exeter alumni. And this is a powerful source of connection for you to be able to use in the future. And come back here occasionally. Come back and see those who taught you. Come back to the facilities where you work. Come back perhaps to refresh your knowledge, because many of the things which you've been taught will appear different in 10 years' time as we move on in our understanding and our analysis. So that's the end of your degree program. Congratulations on your achievement. We're honored that you chose Exeter as a place to study and research. We are eternally grateful to you for that. We wish forever that you will be part of the University of Exeter. With that, I declare congregation closed.
Sorry about that, Brian. There's 2 extra in it. So.